welcome everyone to Digital Gamer. This is the first podcast, and you're here with myself, Cornwolf, and Stella Stig.
Hello.
We're just going to, for this first episode, do a few introductions, and then we're just going to talk about gaming, predominantly Forza. That's what's brought myself and Stella together. And hopefully at some point we'll have Moneyman and Rock King on here. With the time difference with them, it's a little bit tricky to say the least, especially with summer coming round. They've got baseball and all sorts of different sports to play out over on the other side of the pond. So without further ado, I'll let Stella go first, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I'm sure a lot of you know me already from my YouTube channel, where I do tuning videos and tutorials and other crazy shit like that, just to try and bring the Forza community together a little bit, and get away from the nightmare that are the public lobbies most of the time, and just try and get some like-minded races together and have some fun together. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Fantastic. Obviously, I'm very much inspired from Stella and other YouTubers, and it's people like that that have brought me to also do YouTube videos. Started off with the Forza 5 videos, and then stemmed out a little bit to do a few other random gaming videos such as Elder Scrolls Online, and we've done some Trials Fusion and Titanfall. We've got something special coming for Titanfall soon, so keep your eye on our channels for that. But yeah, so we're all about kind of YouTube, but then we decided to do the podcast, and that's where we're going from now. So my first question to you, Stella, is why did you pick the Xbox One over the PS4?
Now it's a very long story that I'll try and make rather shorter for time purposes. I originally started on the PlayStation. The PlayStation 1 was the first console I got.
Yep.
And then I got the Xbox, the original Xbox as well. And to be honest, I was never a big fan of the original Xbox. I think Halo was the first game I played on it, and while Halo was good, I just wasn't hooked. Then I went to the PS2. And then the Xbox 360, and then I bought the PS3, and I thought the PS3 was going to be amazing. The main reason why I bought my PlayStations was for Gran Turismo, and that was pretty much it. I remember playing the first one and being hooked straight away. But for me, the PlayStation 3, it just feels cold. Even setting up like voice chats and stuff like that with your friends, it just seems awkward and painful. I just couldn't get on board with it, and I ended up using it as a Blu-ray player, and that was it. So I got rid of that, stuck my Xbox 360, and then bought my Xbox One from that. And I don't look back for 1 second. I don't miss my PlayStation. I enjoy the original PlayStations a lot more than the newer ones, but I can't see myself ever going over to PlayStation.
Yeah, it's the same here. I've had various other consoles. I'm probably going to make myself out to be older than what I am, but I remember mainly my brother having it, but I was playing it, which was the Spectrum. I actually won a Nintendo Entertainment System, I think it was called back in the day, off the radio. But I was a little bit too young to appreciate games then, so I sold it for a stereo system, which I know some people are going to want to shoot me for that. But I was a bit more into music back then, and then I had the PlayStation 1, which I think I got brought for a birthday or something. Loved it. I remember getting the Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and Resident Evil and things like that, which were fantastic games. And then after that, it came between a toss between PS2, Xbox, the original Xbox, and I went with the original Xbox. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't really get a PS2, but a lot of friends did, so I kind of had the best of both worlds. We tend to share consoles a little bit. And then the previous next gen, went with the 360, but like you, got the PS3 as well, mainly for a Blu-ray player. It was also an excuse to have another console. But then Rockstar ended up doing the Grand Theft Auto games on both consoles, which was fantastic. And apart from a couple of games that was only on the PlayStation 3, it was predominantly for Blu-ray playing. I find, like you, that the community and the online community for the PS3 was really cold. There's nothing there. Really hard to get into parties and different things like that. Whereas on the 360, people are always inviting each other. and you can just jump into a game and have a laugh. There's a few annoying people there,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, I just find it a lot better. It seems like although they almost messed it up with the Xbox One, but the community for the Xbox compared to the PlayStation is so much better. Can't speak for the PS4, but it just seems so much better, and that's the main reason I stuck with the Xbox One. I didn't really have any peer pressure because there was only myself and my cousin that's got an Xbox One. Everyone else has mainly stayed on PC or just with the 360 and not moved over yet. So that was my reasonings for keeping with the Xbox One. I didn't really get put off by the RM stuff, did you?
Uh, by the what? Sorry, I missed that. My
The
headset
digital
cut
media rights and different
out.
things that went on.
No, no. So I basically played games, and that was literally it. And even with the PlayStation, the rare games, I found myself just playing it less and less, and it was like PlayStation for Gran Turismo, and that was it. And then obviously with the original Xbox, I didn't really play the original Forza too much. On the original Xbox, it was Forza 2 that I got into, and then I
Yeah,
always thought that Gran Turismo was going to be the best game ever. And then when you go into Forza and you can actually add different parts onto it and paint your car, it just blew Gran Turismo out the water. And then from there, I pretty much never touched my PlayStation ever again.
yeah. I found that I think it was Forza 3 where I really started to kind of get into it. I skipped 4, but I found Forza 3 compared to Grand Theft Auto 4, was it, that came out on the PS3?
Yeah,
Really late as well. Saying it's supposed to be a launch title, it came out like 2 years late or something. And it just felt boring compared to Forza.
yeah.
There's not as much you can do on it, and the tuning's a bit meh. And then I can't believe that they did no, not Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo 5 um, on the PS3 and not the PS4, which I just thought was bizarre.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit strange as well. You got a next gen console and you're not doing it for, but bearing in mind the amount of time it takes for a Gran Turismo game to be made, I
Yeah,
think that one of them was about like 5 or 6 years, if not longer, for it to come out, and I was a bit shocked at that as well.
yeah.
I thought it definitely would have come out on the PS4.
I have heard rumours that apparently it is coming out on the PS4, but I presume it's just going to be like a digital upgrade or like a HD version, unless they were always planning on doing two versions. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, I think I remember playing Gran Turismo 1 on the PS1, was it? Or
Yeah,
PS? Yeah, and that was really good back in the day. I mean, one of my favourite racing games of all time was Need for Speed Underground.
yeah.
That was good fun. Doing those number one and number two, fantastic soundtrack. Not so much with the tuning, but more the mods and different things you could do. That was good fun.
One thing I do like about the Gran Turismo is the amount of cars you get in the game. It's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing being that they're not all fully modelled, so you don't get interiors for all of them, only for like
Yeah.
the premium cars. And then again, how many different types of Civic do you need
Well,
in
yeah,
one game before they all become the same? So I like the amount of cars that they've got. Because they just piss all over Forza in that respect, but
yeah,
I think they've just copied and pasted on a lot of them.
true.
And it kind of takes away from it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I agree completely with that. And obviously we've nicely segued in, as they call it, into Forza 5, um, which I'm really enjoying. I'm glad I pre-ordered it with my Xbox One. The most excuse me, the most annoying thing for me at the minute um, is there isn't a lack of cars, but a lack of variety of cars. Um, it's crazy that we've got, I can't count off the top of my head, we've got like 15 different Ferraris.
Yeah, there is a lot, and Audis as well. There's a lot of Audis in there.
Yeah, and I'm tempted to tune up a couple of Audis. I've been doing the R8 recently, but they're just a bit boring, the Audis.
I mean, me personally, I know people go on about there's less cars in Forza 5 than there is Forza 4. I think at the moment I'm not disappointed with the amount of cars we've got in there. I'm quite happy because if you look through them, there is a lot,
Yeah,
and I've had Forza 5 since it come out, and I still haven't bought half the cars.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the one thing that it is missing is tracks, and it needs more tracks desperately.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been getting one every 2 or 3 months, I think it is. So I presume we're going to be due a new one. But there's some significant tracks there that are missing, like the Nürburgring and different ones like that. Um, the Long Beach one, I can't make up my mind if I like it or not.
I like it if you've got some good races. Got some good races in it. I've seen videos of online hoppers and the mess that it is. But I
Yeah,
think with some good races in there, I think you could have a good race around that track.
yeah. It'd be good to have a good race around that because it's a little bit like Prague, but yeah, I've got some open areas for overtaking as well. But yeah, what was the other one we had? Road America? I always get confused.
Yeah, I'll get my Road America and Road Atlanta mixed up all the time.
Yeah, but Road America then. That's good. It's a good track that they added. But it'd be nice to get maybe a couple more European tracks in. Maybe even a couple of British tracks. You've got some classic ones like Donington and ones like that that are obviously missing as well.
Yeah,
If the no, go on.
I think we'll never see any loads of British tracks. I think Silverstone will be the British track, and that's it. I don't think they'll ever go to the depths of doing Snetterton or Brands Hatch, which are really good tracks. I played on the PC on R Factor and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
they are awesome tracks. But I don't think anything like that will come. And it's kind of annoying the fact that there are it. It's not so much the tracks that are missing, or there's less cars in there, or there's little bits from like the distance meters on multiplayer, so how far you are ahead or behind someone. Just it's those little things that bug me. The stuff that was in the previous Forza that just seemed to. It just seems like they've rushed it. And I can understand that with Turn 10, they're owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft more than likely went right. We want this game to be a launch title. We're going to box it with the Xbox, so you've got to get it out then. And Turn 10 and Polygon, we've got no choice. We've got to squint back on a few things, and so we'll put less tracks in, less cars in. We'll rush the whole physics of it. Well, not the
yeah,
physics, because the physics is quite good, but I like the key features. And I think for me, Forza 5 is just Forza 4.5. It's kind of like Forza 3 was between 2 and 4. 2 was really good. 3 seemed really, really rushed. And then 4 was awesome. And for me, Forza 5 feels a little bit like Forza 3 did, where it's just like a prologue
right.
in between. I think Forza 6 will be the big one, but I think that's good. That won't even be that won't even be this year. I don't think it'll be Horizon 2, and then it'll be Forza 6. So we've got a while to wait. Which I suppose gives Turn 10 a bit of time to make some more money off DLC and likewise.
Yeah, I mean it's good that they are trying to keep um, the new tracks coming and adding them in for us, and also that they're free. Because I think it'd be impossible to have a paid for only track because then that would just completely mess up rivals and online lobbies and different things. But like you say, there's not as many tracks as I think there could be. Um, if you was to pick one track in the entire world, what would you pick?
Oh, what's a good question? Um, One of my favourite tracks from R Factor was Snetterton. I
Yeah,
did really like that track. That was an awesome track. That was. Um, and it I know that track's in Project Cars, getting a little bit off track, but I know from the track list I've seen that's in Project Cars, and there's quite a few UK tracks in there. But
yeah,
that's one I would like to see in Forza. But yeah, it's a tough one. There are some really, really good tracks out there, like Monza and stuff like that. And I have heard on the grapevine that maybe Monza's coming to Forza,
right,
whether that be the newer one and the historic one as well. But
right,
I know they have to laser scan the track, so I don't know how they're going to laser scan the historic one. So that
yeah,
might be quite interesting. But if they did, that would be kind of awesome to have the two different versions of the track.
yeah, yeah,
But Nürburgring, honestly, I know lots and lots of people love the Nürburgring, and I'm probably going to get shot to death here, but I was never a big fan of the Nürburgring. I didn't like racing on it. I drive around it now and again in the car just to have a little, more like a cruise than anything, like you're driving through country lanes, but I was never a big fan of the Nürburgring. And I think that's the track that is either going to make or break Forza 5, because there's a lot of people out there that want it. And if they turn up and they go, yeah, here you go, here's Nürburgring and it's free, then it'll be awesome. But if they say you've got to pay for it, then I think the community as a whole will just be in uproar.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, like you, I like the Nürburgring, but it's not my favourite racetrack. I'm a pretty big F1 fan. So seeing something like Monaco in there would be really good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would.
Some of the street tracks and that. But what I don't understand is, obviously, we all know everything costs money, but with the race season starting everywhere, all over the world, because of the weather getting better, you would have thought they'd have the cameras there, like while Monaco's set up at the minute, and they'd scan it. I don't know how long it takes to scan and all the technicalities of it, but and all other tracks around the world, you would have thought they'd be almost following them and scanning the tracks ready.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they laser scan the tracks to get them as accurate as possible, but would you rather not have Monaco or have Monaco that was 85% accurate? I'd even like 75%. I'd much rather have the Monaco track in, knowing that some
Yeah,
of the buildings that I'm driving past aren't really there. As long as the track was 95% the right shape and
yeah.
didn't turn left where it went right whatsoever, I'd be happy with that.
I think in a way you'd be hard pressed to completely fuck up a track, as long as you look at the track and go, right, it's got to go this way, and then someone walks around it to get the rough gradient right. I don't stop when I'm playing Forza and go, oh, that's a really nice build, and I visited that when I was in Prague. I'm like too busy trying to beat someone. It's just
Yeah.
not something you do.
And
Um,
it's like some of the old tracks, the made up tracks like Maple Valley on Forza 4. Now, they can't laser scan that because that track doesn't exist.
yeah.
But I'm sure they could recreate it to Forza 5
Oh
and
yeah,
do that
yeah,
quite easily. And I like Maple Valley. And
yeah,
I like Maple Valley quite a lot because it was like one of them standout tracks where you have to have a car specifically tuned for it.
yeah.
But like the made up tracks that they've got in previous games, I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't take them that long to transfer them over.
No,
So
no, no, not at
and
all.
they use the excuse of laser scanning, but yeah, some of the previous tracks that don't exist, they could possibly bring over.
Yeah, because I don't know if it was Turn 10 or not that did Project Gotham Racing, and they had that the made up track which was driving around Edinburgh, which
Yeah,
was really good. That was good fun. That was. It's a bit like a Prague track, because I don't even know if the Prague track exists in real life. Do you?
yeah. I've never known to be a racetrack through the middle of Prague.
No.
So I'd imagine it's just they've took Prague and gone, right, how can we make a racetrack out of this, and then just done little bits like that.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy that track, but it just seems like if it was a one between that and an actual race circuit, whether it's a street circuit or not, you would have thought they'd add that rather than some of the fictional ones. But hey ho, who knows? Um, what other feature would you like other than a track? And obviously cars.
um, it's difficult because the one thing going back to Forza 2 that I really did enjoy with building and tuning different cars was I know in Forza 2 you had the with the tyres, you could have race tyres and then you could pick a manufacturer and they all had different tyre wear.
Yeah,
That I really enjoyed because I had some really good races in that where we picked different different tyres for each car, stuff like that. We had some really close races,
yeah,
and that worked out really well. So that I mean that's going back quite a while Forza 2 and bringing that up, that'd be awesome. And another thing in the lobby settings, if you could have some sort of adjustable slider, so you can go right, you can have race tyres on, but they wear 200% faster than they normally do.
yeah,
Little things like that just make the game, it just open it up a lot more. Because basically now you could have a race car with race tyres on, drive around for 200 laps and never have to pit for your tyres. Which, considering Forza is marketed as a simulation game, I don't know any race cars can do 200 laps and not have to pit once
yeah.
for tyres.
No, no. Interestingly, when we did the last endurance race that I was on with you, I'm uploading a video later, and I tried to see how far I could go on one set of drag tyres, and they just completely shot, and it took me from the last corner to the pits about 2 minutes to get into the pits
Yeah,
because it was like driving on ice. It's crazy.
yeah, once you start getting above like 70% and it starts flashing up the warnings, you know you've probably got a lap or two in it. And
Yeah,
I did some testing last night on Road America, and I said I'm probably going to do the endurance race on the Saturday and I might run one on the Sunday as well.
yeah,
And the Road America was quite interesting because it was a 10 lap race. And by the end of, or just coming up to the end of the lap four, your tyres were about 70%. And
yeah,
I pushed it that extra lap, and three-quarters of the way around, my tyres were shot.
yeah,
And I really struggled to get to the pit. So it's that tough call between making one pit stop and struggling at the end of each stint, or making two pit stops and having that extra time in the pits that you lose. I just think if they could add some sort of slider in there to change the tyre wear for race tyres, I think it'd make it so much more more thinking where you're racing around as well, and thinking, right, I need to pit in 4 laps or squeeze another lap out or pit early, and I think it just brings a whole new dimension to the racing.
Yeah, and it'll also give you that, like you said, that simulation feel, because although it is simulation, it the tyre, which you would expect to be the biggest part of it that is going to wear, because obviously when you have got full simulation damage on, you can knacker up your gearbox and smash into something, and various parts of your car are going to break. But
Yeah,
you would have thought the tyre degradation would be there quite significantly.
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, it's a million miles away from reality. It couldn't be any further away if it tried.
Yeah,
With the tyre wear, and the fact that you have to put drag tyres on and then try and tune round it, just to add the element in, it does make it a bit of a nightmare.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
it is crazy. Um, I don't know what feature I'd like to have in, to be honest. There's many features out there that'd be good to have. Um, I was speaking to Moneyman the other day and said that being able to set up your own, this is probably a nice to have feature, your own rival leaderboard, and maybe even
yeah,
make it private, which would be
yeah,
good. So especially for if we put a tune out there on YouTube, yeah, on YouTube, and then you could say, right, this is the leaderboard. Message me for a password or whatever. I'll invite you to it,
yeah.
and then you could have your own little rival leaderboard of that car, which would be really good. Just adding a few features like that, which would be, I think, be nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's two other things as well. There's the custom lobbies that are open for anybody to join. That worked really well in Forza 4 when they brought it back. But I just think the fact that you can't actually put your custom lobby as public, and you have to invite people in, I think it just makes it's sort of take a step forward and then take a step back and do exactly the thing that was wrong in Forza 3.
Yeah,
Um, and it's like with the car clubs as well. The car clubs were awesome in Forza 4. It was so much easier to set up events when you just go, right, there's a car in the garage, in the club garage, pick that one, we'll all race that. And
yeah,
now you have to go through so much of, right, you have to go to download it from here, or this is the bill for it. And again, I think it's just down to them rushing the game and going, right, we'll leave car clubs out because we haven't got time to put that in. So yeah, that's another two things. Custom lobbies open to everybody, made public, and the car clubs as well.
yeah, yeah. It'd be good. One funny story before we move on. I was at Eurogamer last year, and I went to the Turn 10 press conference, and Dan was there. I can't remember his surname. I think he's the lead creator or something like that.
Dan Dan Greenwald or something
I was
like
going to
that,
say Greenwood, but I wasn't sure if I'd made that up in my
is
head.
it?
But he, on the main stage in the middle of the expo and everything, he was on stage just talking about Forza, and he was making it out to sound even better than what it actually is. But obviously he's trying to sell his game. But he sent out a questions and answer to the floor. A few people asking questions about can I do this, and the fact that I can't remember if it's on Forza 3 or Forza 4 where you could add your own picture off the Connect or something like that. Which he said no, they've banned because people have put in pictures of cocks and stuff like that on cars. But then there was this Scottish guy in the crowd, and he made me laugh and I had to walk away because he just absolutely laid in to Dan saying that he'd just paid, which I know is a massive gripe for a lot of people, but he'd just paid £200, like I think a week before they announced all the new consoles were coming out. He just paid £200 on a new wheel and pedals and everything, and then he says it's not compatible. And Dan just did not know what to do or what to say, and this guy absolutely laid into him, giving him what for, and then just stormed off, which I just had to laugh, and it broke the atmosphere a little bit, which I know is frustrating because I think you've got a wheel as well.
Yeah, I purchased a Fanatec CSR wheel with just used solely on Forza 4, and the wheel itself is absolutely awesome. It's the best racing wheel I've had. It's got the 3 pedals as well. So it's got the clutch in there. It's got the H shifter, the sequential shifter, and the paddles on the steering wheel as well. It just adds an extra dimension. And when I found out that I couldn't use it on the Xbox One, it was just like, I can't believe. I mean, they're not cheap. It's like
No.
£200 plus for one of them wheels. But luckily, it's compatible with the PC.
Right.
So I can still use it on R Factor and stuff like that, and Project Cars as well. I'll be able to use it on that. So it's still got its uses. It's just gathering dust at the moment until I
Yeah.
can get something that warrants using it.
Would you buy another one that's compatible with the Xbox One?
No, I don't think I
No?
would. To be honest, I'll stick with my joypad.
Oh,
I know Fanatec are on about releasing another wheel that is compatible with the existing pedals. But even so, it's like £200, so I'd have to sell my old wheel to buy the new one, and it's just like no, I can't. I'll stick with the wheel I've got. It's a perfectly good wheel. It works really, really well on PC. So I'll just stick with that and stick with the controller.
yeah. I mean, I race with a couple of guys off a forum, just doing a few rivals, and one of the guys is significantly quicker because he's using a wheel. Now, is that just because A is a good driver and he's got a wheel, or do the wheels actually make that much of a difference?
Now, when I had my wheel, it takes a bit of getting used to. And to be honest, I didn't notice that I was any faster or any slower. If anything, I was probably a little bit slower with
Okay.
the wheel. Um, but it all comes down to how smooth you are with the joysticks on the D-pad as well. Because one thing I found, if you turn into a right-hand corner and you move the joystick stick all the way to the right, you'll get round it. But then I noticed if you just turn it like three or push it three-quarters of the way, you seem to get more grip and it turns
Oh, okay.
better. So rather than going like lock to lock on the, because you imagine if you're driving a car into a right-hand bend, you just put it full lock right-hand side, it's going to lose a bit of
Yeah.
traction. So yeah, I found a lot of times where I'll just sit on the lap and I'll concentrate and I'll just move small amounts on the actual joystick itself, and then I'll do a lap and it's like 9/10 of a second faster.
Wow. Okay.
And it feels like a really slow lap when I'm driving it as well.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed as well. So little tip for everybody out
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. There you go. It's Stella's gaming tip of the day. Right. Moving on. What is your next game you're 100% getting or pre-ordered, or what is on your pre-order list for your next game?
Well, for me personally, I know there's a lot of good games coming out shortly, but the one I'm definitely 100% going to be getting this year is Project Cars. From what I've seen and what I've heard of it, it looks absolutely awesome. I know people who have got the dev build of it when they were doing like the Kickstarter program, and the bits I've seen from that, and they rave about it. So it's really really awesome, and really hope the handling is as good as the graphics and the audio, because if it is, it'll be an immense game.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you some more questions about that because after I think you tweeted something, I did check out. There's a video on YouTube where it's comparing Laguna Seca and
Yeah.
it's a BMW and it's like the bonnet cam and it's comparing the two. And at one point, I thought the game was actually the the real car when it wasn't. It was the other way around. So it does look fantastic. So while we're on the subject of project cars. I'll get you to tell us a little bit more about it. Roughly when is it released? I know they did the release recently release get my words out. Recently announced the release date.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the provisional date is November this year, so we've got another 6 months before it comes out.
Yeah,
But yeah, just in time for Christmas, get people spending money. But yeah, November this year. Not too sure when it is in November, but yeah, it should be kind of cool. There's a lot of tracks in there.
yeah.
Um,
If you want to reel some of them off, I know we can give people the link to. Is it Auto Motorsport where the lists
yeah,
or the
yeah,
rumored?
some virtual motorsports on my Patreon site as well. But yeah, there's from the provisional list I've got on there. There's literally about 40 tracks, I'd say, and they've got European circuits such as Brands Hatch, Donington, Mugello, which is another good track that's missing from Forza 5.
Yeah,
Le Mans, Nürburgring's in there, Alton Park, Spa's in there, Zolder, Hockenheimring, Imola. Then you've got North American circuits. So you've got Sonoma Raceway, another good track from Forza 4. Road America, Laguna Seco, Willow Springs, Watkins Glen. They've got karting tracks on there, Asian circuits, Suzuka, Bathurst. Then they've got some country road tracks as well, which will be quite interesting, driving down country
yeah,
roads in their high-powered performance cars.
yeah,
Uh, they've got historic tracks, so they've got historic Monza, Old Silverstone, Old Spa, Old Hockenheimring, a load of oval tracks for the guys that like doing oval racing. There just seems, if that's every track that's in there at the moment, which I imagine that may change a little bit, but I think the information from on Virtual Motorsports is from one of the developers on Project Cars, so I'd say it's probably about 90% accurate to what it's
yeah.
going to be.
Uh,
But yeah, just the volume of tracks on there looks awesome.
Now, if obviously that is correct, and obviously we'll talk about a few other cars in a minute. If you were Forza 5 and or Turn 10, I would be worried looking at the track list like that, because that seems to cover most bases for racing in like such as British touring cars. You could almost do um, almost replicate an entire race if you want to do a league on British touring cars because you've got
Yeah,
all those tracks there, Formula One tracks, and then you've got your NASCAR tracks and different things. I think if I was Turn 10 and this was on the horizon, which I know it's been in production for a good 3 or 4 years,
yeah.
I'd be worried.
I would be as well because I think if it handles, I'll say as well as Forza, I think Forza might well struggle.
Yeah,
But then again, Forza 5 at the end of the year, they're looking to get Forza Horizon 2 out. So are they just saying right, we've got what we can out of Forza 5, we'll move on to Forza Horizon 2, get the money out of that, and if Project Cars beats um, Forza 5, then so be it, and then we'll come back with Forza 6 and blow Project Cars out of the water. I think that's probably the approach that I'll go down, look at it and go, it's not coming out till November, we've got another 6 months where we can release DLC and stuff,
yeah.
and try and get the most out of it, and then move on to Horizon 2, and then go to Forza 6.
What's slightly going off subject, but what do you think of Forza Horizon? Because I played it, the original one on the 360, and it was good, but it felt more arcadey as opposed to Forza, and presumably that's how it's meant to be a little bit. But what was your thoughts? Did you find you had more fun with it, or
I liked it initially, but I got bored of it very quickly because there was no tuning aspect to it.
yeah,
If you put your parts in, that's it. And I didn't personally have a problem with it being more arcadey. I know a lot of people originally moaned, saying, "Oh, it's not anywhere near as realistic as Forza," and I don't think it was ever made to be as realistic as Forza. And I'm quite happy with the fact that they've got Horizon, that is an arcade racer, and
yeah,
Forza, which is more simulation. As long as they make Forza a simulation and don't dumb it down to arcade levels,
yeah,
and Miss Keith points out, and that way they've got cover both bases, but don't uh, not put stuff into Forza 5 when you've got the opportunity to put it in there and make it two different completely games.
yeah, yeah,
Nobody wants two games that are going to be exactly the same, otherwise it's pointless. The
yeah,
open world stuff I did like the aspect of that.
yeah? It's
Um,
very kind of Need for Speed-esque.
yeah,
Whether it was meant to be kind of a rivalry to that or not, I don't know. But yeah, it was good. I didn't get the rally expansion for it though. Was that any good?
yeah, I bought that. I probably played that more than I played the original game, to be honest. The rally
Yeah,
expansion, turn all the assist stuff, everything off, and just have the co-driver there. It is really, really, really cool.
yeah,
But yeah, I quite like that.
fantastic. Right, getting back to Project Cars. We've got a bit of a rumored car list as well, which I didn't think was too extensive, if I'm honest. There's a lot of cars there, but I didn't find there was a lot of um, like street cars that you could tune up, unless
Yeah,
I've not read it properly.
I think road cars there aren't anywhere near as many as there are in Forza. I think on the list I've got here, there's probably about 60 or so cars, maybe a few more. And you've got open wheels, LMP1, LMP2, prototypes, Prototype 2, Prototype 1, GT chassis, Super Touring, Super 2000, Renault Clios, go-karts, which are always interesting. And you've got
Yeah,
track day cars, which is like the Radical, the Aerial Atom. I think they've got three versions of that. Got the Aerial Atom 300 supercharged, the Aerial Atom V8, and the Aerial Atom Mugen.
oh,
The
sponsored by
V8.
Ariel Atom.
Yeah, I want an Aerial Atom delivered to me, yeah, for that. They got the BAC Mono, the Caterham, and they got quite a few road cars in there as well. So it's like the Focus ST, Gunpowder Apollo, a few Evos, a few RUFs in there, some vintage cars, Formula One cars, Group C rally cars, Le Mans cars. So yeah, there's a good variety of cars in there. There isn't a great amount of cars in each category, but there is quite a lot of categories in there. And
Yeah.
the one good thing with PC as well is the modding community. I know with R Factor that I think that was released with like 4 or 5 tracks I think originally, and you go on it now and there's pretty much every track in the world you can race on,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and you can download them all for free, and all the
Yeah.
cars are for free as well. The amount of cars you got on there, you got absolutely everything. You can race buzzies, tractors, noddy cars, absolutely anything you can think of is on there, and that's why I like the PC side of it as well, which is where I'm going to struggle with Project Cars comes out, because a lot of people I race with will be on the Xbox, and then I've got my wheel and the modding side of it on from a PC, so I'll probably buy it on Xbox first, see what the handling's like, and then see if it deserves buying it on PC so I can use my wheel as well.
Yeah, yeah, that is a shame with consoles, is the modding side of it, especially for games like that and Skyrim and different things, because some of the mods that come out are phenomenal. Some of them are stupid as hell, but then you've also got the ones that are great. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, hopefully we can keep these podcasts going, and we'll try and keep everyone up to date with Project Cars.
Yeah,
Try
yeah,
and keep a finger on the pulse with that one.
yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people. A lot of people I've spoken to are quite looking forward to Project Cars. So I better dig around for some more information.
Yeah, who knows? They might throw a few beta keys at us, and we can give everyone our impressions if we're not got our
Yeah,
mouths taped shut.
yeah. If you don't ask, you don't get. So
Well,
we can always
exactly.
try and find out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see because obviously at the minute there's a few videos online. So if you want to YouTube Project Cars, there's quite a few comparisons and track layouts and different things. But it'll be interesting to see what the tuning aspect of it is like, and see how in depth it is. If it goes a little bit too extreme or a bit too dumbed down. But obviously when we get more info, we will share it.
Yep, definitely.
So the game that I have pre-ordered, or at least is on its way, is Watch Dogs. I've joined the DeckSec, as it's called, group. So hopefully, I think that was dispatched yesterday. What day is it today? Sunday. So it was dispatched on Friday from Amazon. So I have no idea when it's going to turn up. But that'll be fun. Stella's going to go and get an ice cream, as you can hear in the background.
Yeah, every time I do a video, I've always got the ice cream man coming past. I wouldn't mind, but it's raining by me as well.
Yeah, I'm sure mine will be around in 20 minutes as well. So, um, but yeah, Watch Dogs looks phenomenal. I believe you don't know a great deal about it.
No, I was going to ask you about it to be honest, because I've seen a few trailers, but as is the norm, the trailers don't show you a lot about the game. I haven't really had time to Google it or stick on YouTube and have a look what it's all about. So if you've got any info on it regarding multiplayer-wise or the basic plot of the game,
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
Um, sit tight then. We'll go through it. Best thing to do after listening to this and yourself after we finish doing this is if you go on YouTube and type in Watch Dogs 101. It's about a 10-minute long video by Ubisoft, and it tells you everything. Some of it I'll go through now, but it's really good just showing you the different aspects of it. But basically, it's an open world game, a bit like Grand Theft Auto. It's based in Chicago, which is apparently one of the most watched countries in the world, or states. I'm sure, I think the UK is not far behind from that, or we might be one of the most watched in the world. But and basically, you play a hacker. I think your niece was killed or captured or something along those lines. I'm not giving away anything here because this is general knowledge. And basically, you're on a revenge mission to go and either avenge her death or to get her back. And you join a group of hackers called DeckSec, if I've pronounced that right. And basically, you've got your cell phone and different gadgets, and you can actually trigger the lights changing and the automatic bollards popping up just by pressing bits and bobs on your phone. So there's a massive hacking aspect to it, and you can cause blackouts, as well as shooting and running and gunning and different things like that. And you stand next to a car and you can hack it, jump in and chase after someone. So that's the main kind of aspects of the game. There's some really good things that Ubisoft have added in if it works well. So if you had it as well, Stella, you could hack my game, and you come into my game, and this is where, if I say this right, you might have to listen to this about 6 times, but you can come into my game and you're you. So the main character is Aiden. So in your game, you will look like you, but when you come into my game, you'll look like just a generic character, and I will look like the main character in my game.
Yeah.
Which is just a bit of a mindfuck in itself. And basically, it will flag up to say that someone's coming into my game, and then you've got a certain mission, which normally means you've got to hack me to get data from me. So you have to hide somewhere and hack me, and then I've got to try and find out where you are and then chase you down or kill you or whatever, and then you go back to your game and you get experience from that. I presume it's something, if it went a bit crazy, you could turn off in game, although they've said we advise you not to do that, which they obviously will if it's a main feature. But it does look really good. There's a video on YouTube of a guy jumping into another guy's game, and he's in a taco van. So presumably it opens up and you can sell tacos out of it, but he hides in the back of it in this taco van and he's hacking the other guy while he's running around trying to find out what's going on, which is really good. Little multiplayer aspect to it. I think a few other games have done it where you can jump in and out of other people's games, but it was more of a hindrance, I found.
Yeah.
The game, off the top of my head, I can't remember which one it was, but there was something where people had joined your game and it just got really annoying. I think it was a driving game. Might have been a Need for Speed or something. But other than that, you've got your hacking game as well, where you've got the good guys and the bad guys, and you all run in together and shoot up people. But in all, the game looks really good, and there's loads of random quests to do. So you've got random missions from people.
Ice cream man's back.
Yeah. Anybody wants a 99? Let Stella know.
I do actually live at an ice cream factory.
But yeah, there's loads of things to do, and as you're walking around, and it's all random. So you could find someone and they'll ask you for help. And as you're walking around on your phone, it will throw up what people do for a living, how much they earn, and you can hack ATMs. So it looks really good. I just hope it kind of lives up to the hype and what I've seen. But the game looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I know there is a lot of hype around it, so I'm gonna have to do some investigation. It does sound really, really cool. I like the open world kind of games like Grand Theft Auto, that sort of thing. So no me, I'll probably will end up getting it anyway.
Yeah, it'll be good. So when I get it, I'll probably do a few live streams on my Twitch and put a few videos up. But there's loads of videos on YouTube already from the likes of IGN and people like that who were able to get early access to it. But yeah, that's going to be a massive game, I think, if it lives up to the hype.
That'd be quite interesting when you live streaming and you get people from your stream jumping and they're trying to hack them and you go try and find out where they are and they can see exactly what you're doing. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, which I know is not kind of a pre-release as such, since it's kind of released, my next big one is Batman. I'm a massive Batman fan. Arkham Asylum, when that came out, was just phenomenal. That, I think, revolutionised fighting systems within games. Because I know a lot of people loved Assassin's Creed, and then Batman came along and kind of shown them how it was done by Rocksteady, which I think was one of their first AAA. I think it was their first AAA title, and then they've done various ones. And in this next one, you get to drive the Batmobile, which is awesome.
Yeah, I've got Batman Arkham Asylum, I think, for the PC. It was on Steam sale or something, so I downloaded it. I've played a little bit of it, and I do quite like the fighting aspect of it and the way they changed it up a little bit. So it was kind of cool, but I just couldn't get pulled into it there. I was like, this is a game I've got to play. But it is a good game. I do enjoy the little bit that I played of it.
Arkham City was great because that was open world, so you're actually flying around as Batman and jumping down and different things and using your remote claw to catapult yourself off to a building so you can swoop and get someone and that. So that was really good. And with it being, I think it's possibly going to be the first next gen only game. And when I mean that, as in kind of a series of games that has said, fuck the rest of you, we're just doing next gen. So that'll be interesting to see how that's received as well, because I know Ubisoft and people like that are very reluctant to turn their back on the 360 and PS3 for good reasons. But it'll be interesting to see how this is received with them just going straight to next gen.
Yeah, it's always the dodgy call when they get to next gen or they're limited to Xbox or PlayStation, because you're essentially halving your income from that game. So sometimes it's a bold move. Whether it will work out, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on from there, what would you like to see come onto the Xbox One? Obviously, as we've discussed earlier on, that we only have Xbox One, so please nobody out there shoot us for being fanboys, but we can't speak on behalf of the PS4. So what would you like to see come to the Xbox One, whether it's something new and fresh, a remake, or even an app? If you wanted a certain app added to the store, what would it be you want?
That's quite a difficult question because we're put on the spot and looking at trying to think previous games that are on the 360. I know there's going to be in when we talk about the E3 rumors, Halo. I was a big fan of Halo when I started the Xbox as well, so I'd like to see how the Halo game's going to the next generation Halo game's going to pan out on the Xbox One. That could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, um, Halo, not Halo, Titanfall tried to do it, although for some reason I don't know, I kind of lose interest in Titanfall a little bit. It doesn't grip me like the original Call of Duties do. I have a massive love-hate relationship with Call of Duty anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm exactly the same. The first Modern Warfare that came out, it is still one of my favourite games of all time.
yeah,
Very basic. You had 3 kill streaks, no perks whatsoever, and it was just the amount of my life that I lost playing that game was
yeah,
unbelievable. And then World at War, that was kind of all right, and then it's just gone downhill from there. I haven't even bought the last one. Um, and I doubt very much I'll buy the next one that comes out either, because as much as it's trying to do new things. It's not really doing much. I think it's just taking little bits from other games and then adding it to theirs and going, look at this, it's great, it's awesome.
yeah,
So
yeah. I do find that they tend to, because the following that it's got. I mean, there are probably going to be some people giving us hate now for not absolutely loving Call of Duty. But I just feel like they try to do it to please the masses, and even though everyone bitches about it, the next one and whatnot, they don't they still buy it because it's Call of Duty, and then you've now got the leagues, the professional leagues with it, and different things like that. But I do find they're just churning them out a bit too much. I mean, I don't play FIFA and things like that, but again, that's another game that FIFA 2015 and whatnot. It's exactly the same as before, apart from someone's just moved the teams around, and it's a bit,
yeah,
you
no,
know,
yeah, it just seems doing it for the sake of it, and then knowing they'll get loads of money off it and not really putting much changes into it.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, with Titanfall, I'm very much the same as you. I'll pick it up and put it down, and I'll play it for a couple of days, and then I won't play it for a week.
yeah,
And that's the way it got with Call of Duty as well.
yeah,
It's very much a pick up and put down kind of game. I know I've done some armor stuff on my YouTube channel, and you can not. I can't comprehend how difficult that game is to get into with the amount of different keyboard buttons there are and everything. But it is like super uber realism,
yeah,
I like it quite a lot. And where it differs to Call of Duty quite a bit, because Call of Duty it's action packed for 10 minutes and then you go into the lobby and another action packed for 10 minutes. And where with Armour you have 45 minutes of downtime where you just be travelling from one place to the other, and then you'll have the biggest firefight in the world, and it'll just be absolutely awesome when you've got A-10s flying over and bombing, and just knowing that they're actually all people that are controlling all these things. It's just amazing.
yeah,
But yeah, that's why I kind of drifted away from Call of Duty and went over to Armour.
yeah. It's something I'd want to check out. I mean, I've played Battlefield as well on my PC. But obviously there was a lot of hate towards that because it basically rushed out by EA. They told who is it that makes it? Is it Frostbite? Oh, that's the engine, isn't it?
Yeah, Frostbite India. I can't remember
Um,
who makes it.
they basically just said it's got to be released now, and which I think was to compete with Call of Duty Ghosts. But I do
Yeah,
find that any new shooter game that comes out is instantly dissed because it's not Call of Duty, even though it could be the best shooter out there. But because it's not Call of Duty, it just instantly flops, and not everyone, but most people just don't give it the time of day because it isn't Call of Duty, which sucks really. Because I remember the days of playing GoldenEye on the N64 and things, which was just
yeah, yeah.
phenomenal back in the day.
I remember that as well. I remember that. But Battlefield was one that I've got that on PC, and I actually prefer that over Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Putting my head on the chopping block there. But
no,
yeah,
yeah, I do too.
I
Yeah,
much prefer it over Call of
yeah.
Duty.
I mean, the biggest thing with Call of Duty that completely and utterly fucks me off to no end is people jumping off a fucking building, spinning around 128 times, and then popping them in the head with a sniper rifle. Now, I'm not being funny, mate. If you did manage to pop a shot off, fair enough. But your body should be split in half with a sniper rifle because they're that
Yeah,
powerful. And
yeah,
it just frustrates me that I know they kind of almost portray it as a simulation, but it's not. It's far
yeah.
from it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's for the it's for the younger generation that maybe don't have a full idea of what what warfare is really like.
Yeah,
And again, the amount of people that want to just spend 20 minutes not really doing a fat lot, that it's very much like I said, a pick up and put down game where you can just play it for half hour if you want and then go out and do something else. So I think they're just try and make it as action packed
yeah.
as possible. And don't get me wrong, it's been really successful and it's probably made them loads and loads of money for
Oh yeah.
what they've done. But for me personally, I've just kind of lost interest and it hasn't evolved to what it maybe could have been.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also it's age that plays a part because some of these kids, bless them, they've got reflexes of ninjas. They should just go to Japan or something because I can't shoot that quick anymore.
Yeah, and going back to the point you made when they jump off buildings, spin round like 5 times, and then shoot in the head without aiming. It was that sort of thing, and it was just like, oh, I can't really be bothered for that. It's like how much of that is actually skill, and how much of it is just damn luck.
Yeah,
Because going back onto armor again, when you snipe on that, it literally takes you about 4 minutes to line up a shot.
yeah,
'Cause you have to do all the calculations for wind, distance, and absolutely everything. And it's a lot more thinking. And I like that kind of style where you can just pick up and do different things. And with army, you can fly jets, you can fly helicopters, you can be ground forces, you can drive a tank. And I've just in an Armour 3, they've added a new thing in which you've got actually like Titans in there as well, which
all right.
which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
Looks amazing, but yeah, there's so much you can do. It's unbelievable, and it was maybe it is my age and getting older a little bit. It's played part in moving away from Call of Duty.
yeah. Because I mean, like you know, like watching films and seeing things on the news and whatnot. You shouldn't be able to do that with a sniper rifle. And like you say, whether it's because of the age and that and whatnot. If they pushed Call of Duty as an arcade game, then whatever, do what you want. But you should at least be crouched with a sniper rifle, if not lying down on the floor. And when you see videos on YouTube of kills of the week, I don't expect someone to be spinning around like a helicopter and then just popping someone in the head.
Yeah,
I'd want to see a shot that's from the other side of the map. The guy doesn't even know he's been shot until he's dead, and it's like the longest shot of the day or something like that. That to me is more skill than spinning around and popping someone.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Yeah, because it's always showing those kills of the week, and it says, look at this one, look what he's done. Yeah, but how many times did he attempt that? How many
Yeah,
times did he attempt that and miss and die?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, on arm, I think my longest kill on that with a sniper rifle was like 1.6 kilometers away, and it takes like literally 6 or 7 seconds for the bullet to get there. So it was, yeah, it's a whole different type of warfare gaming, but
Yeah.
both different, both got their audiences.
Hey, hey, yeah. We digress anyway, but so don't hate us for not loving Call of Duty.